Hey everyone, welcome to the Personal Finance Podcast. I'm Daniel.
And I am Anna.
And we love exploring things about personal finance as well as understanding how global news and trends impact our wallets.
Let us remind you that we are not financial advisors, but we dive into TED Talks, interviews with the best investors, books, news alerts, advisors analysis, and more.
You don't need to be a Wall Street expert to make smart decisions with your money. This episode is for you if you want to be able to think like a CEO of your own life.
Let's dive in.
You know that feeling? It's late at night, everything's quiet, and you decide to open up your banking app.
Oh, I know it well.
That little Face ID thing spins for a second, and in that split second, your heart rate just spikes a little. You're bracing yourself.
It's a very modern kind of adrenaline, and not the good kind.
Definitely not the skydiving kind, no. It's that feeling of, like, compression. You see the number, and then you start subtracting everything in your head. Mm-hmm. The rent, the car, the groceries, that one subscription you swear you're going to cancel.
And suddenly that number looks tiny.
Incredibly small.
Yeah.
It feels like you're trying to squeeze water from a rock, like the budget's already been through a hydraulic press.
That's the universal squeeze. And the feeling isn't, oh, I need a better plan. The feeling is, there's just no money left. You know, the physics of my life have consumed everything.
Exactly. My paycheck has been scientifically destroyed. Mm-hmm. And the worst part is, the advice you always get when you feel that squeeze is just... it's insulting, really. It's always stop buying lattes.
Cancel Netflix.
Yeah, or make your own laundry soap from, I don't know, acorns and rainwater.
Right. It's advice that works on a spreadsheet, but it fails in real life. It treats the symptom, not the actual system.
And it feels like a punishment. It feels like the only way to save is to make your life smaller and grayer. So that's why I am actually really excited about our deep dive today.
Okay.
We're looking at a guide called What are the Most Effective Strategies for Identifying Extra Savings in a Tight Budget?
And just to be clear, for everyone listening, no, it does not tell you to stop drinking coffee.
Thank goodness, because that was a deal breaker. So our mission today is to get past the generic stuff and find the actual mechanisms in this source, the tactical moves that free up cash without making you miserable.
And what's really interesting about this source is how it frames the problem. It argues saving isn't really a math problem, it's a behavior problem. It's about outsmarting your own brain.
Which I love, because my brain is usually the one getting me into this mess in the first place.
It's getting all of us into trouble. The core idea here is that willpower is a finite resource. It's like your phone battery. If you have to wake up every morning and use that battery to actively decide not to spend money,
you're going to run out.
You are going to run out. You'll fail. It's inevitable.
So the goal isn't to be some kind of disciplined financial monk.
No, the goal is to build a system where you don't have to be.
Okay.
It's about bypassing that decision fatigue. And the source starts with a concept that, I'll be honest, usually makes people groan.
I think I know where this is going. It's the B word, isn't it?
It is. The budget. Building a formal written down budget.
Yeah, I can almost hear the collective sigh from our listeners. Build a budget feels like being told to eat your vegetables. But the source puts it at step one, and interestingly, not for the reason you think.
Right. It doesn't frame it as a set of handcuffs. It frames it as a diagnostic tool. Think of it like a forensic audit of a crime scene.
A forensic audit. Yeah. I like that. It sounds much more exciting.
Well, most of us operate on what I'd call vibes-based banking. You look at the app, you see a number that's not zero, and you get a vibe that you can probably afford to order takeout.
Oh, I am so guilty of vibes-based banking. The sun's out, I have $100, let's get sushi.
And that's exactly where the money leaks out. The source is very clear. You cannot save what you cannot track. The budget turns that vague feeling of I'm broke into actual data.
So instead of I have no money, it becomes, oh, I spent $400 last month on like 5 different streaming services.
Exactly. You're moving from feeling poor to knowing why. And there's a cool scientific thing here called the observer effect. Just the act of observing something changes it.
So just knowing I have to write it down might make me hesitate before buying something.
It does. It adds a tiny moment of friction. You think, ugh, do I really want to have to log this $7 coffee? And a lot of the time, the answer is no. So the budget isn't restriction, it's awareness.
Okay, so step one is the map. We've done our forensic audit. We know where the leaks are. Now we have to talk about the villain of the story. The source brings up this term that sounds like a monster from a horror movie. Lifestyle creep.
the silent killer of wealth.
It sounds so dramatic, but the source says this is the critical habit you have to break. I mean, we all kind of know what it is, but how does the text define it?
So in behavioral economics, it's basically the hedonic treadmill. As your income goes up, your spending goes up right along with it, in lockstep.
Okay, so I get a raise at work. My brain immediately goes, great, I can finally afford the nicer car lease. I can upgrade my cable package. I can buy the fancy cheese at the grocery store.
And it feels completely justified, right? You earned it.
Yeah.
You tell yourself, I deserve this. But the source points out the trap. If your spending goes up at the same rate as your income, you're just running in place.
You're just a wider pipe for money to flow through. You're not actually keeping any more of it.
That is a terrifyingly accurate metaphor. You're just a conduit for cash flowing from your employer to other companies. That's why you have people earning six figures who are still living paycheck to paycheck.
So how do you fight it? Because telling me not to buy nice things when I finally have a little more money, that's a tough sell.
Well, the strategy the source suggests is, it's pretty counterintuitive. It says, when you get a raise, do absolutely nothing. Nothing. Maintain your current lifestyle. Just freeze it. You were surviving on your old salary, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was making it work.
So the advice is to treat that new money as if it doesn't even exist for your day-to-day life. You immediately redirect the entire difference into savings or investments.
That word immediately feels really important there.
It's everything. There's this idea, Parkinson's law, that work expands to fill the time available. Well, money does the same thing. Spending expands to fill the budget available.
So if that extra money just lands in my checking account and sits there,
it will get absorbed. It'll vanish into slightly nicer lunches, a few more Ubers, 1,000 tiny upgrades. But if you divert it before you ever see it, if you pretend the raise never happened...
you don't miss what you never had.
Exactly. You're not cutting back. You're not depriving yourself.
Yeah.
You're just refusing to expand. It's the easiest path to building real wealth.
I love that. But okay, I want to pivot for a second.
Yeah.
Because I can hear a listener right now shouting, that's great, but I didn't get a raise. My income is totally flat. I'm struggling now.
That's a very fair point. Fighting lifestyle creep is for the future. It doesn't solve today's problem.
So let's talk about the tools for right now. The source gets into what I'd call invisible savings. It's about using technology, specifically these spare change apps.
Yes, the micro savings tool.
To me, spare change sounds like finding quarters in the couch. It doesn't sound like a real strategy.
Well, since we don't use much cash anymore, these apps kind of replicate that idea digitally. They link to your card, and every time you buy something, they round it up to the nearest dollar and siphon off that difference.
Yeah, walk me through an example. I'm still skeptical that pennies can make a difference.
Sure. The source uses the classic coffee example. Let's say you buy a coffee for $3.39.
A very cheap coffee these days, but okay.
The app sees that $3.39 charge. It rounds it up to $4, and it takes that difference, 61 cents, and moves it into a savings account for you.
61 cents. It
Yes.
sounds like nothing.
It does, and that's the whole point. The source uses the phrase, hardly missed.
Hardly missed.
Right. Think about the psychology. If I asked you to manually transfer $50 into savings at the end of the month, you would feel that. You'd hesitate.
Yeah, I think about what else I could do with that $50. That's a tank of gas.
But 61 cents, your brain just dismisses it. It's below the threshold of pain. But you do that 3 or 4 times a day, every single day, and it adds up to hundreds of dollars a year without a single conscious decision to save.
So you're basically embezzling money from yourself for your own good.
In the best possible way, yes. It's about volume over intensity. You're not lifting one heavy weight. You're lifting a feather 1,000 times.
I like that. Now, there's another strategy in the text that feels like the big brother to this one, a little more structured. You called it the robot strategy.
Right. The source calls it automating small transfers.
How's that different from the roundups?
The roundups are reactive. They only happen when you spend. Automation is proactive. This is that classic advice. Pay yourself first.
We hear that phrase all the time. What does it actually mean in practice, according to the source?
It means you set up a small recurring transfer. Maybe it's $20 a week, maybe $50 a month, whatever it is. It moves money from your checking to your savings automatically. And the absolute key here is the timing.
The timing.
It has to happen the second you get paid. Before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before you even have a chance to think about it.
Before you can mess it up.
Basically, yeah. We can't trust our future selves. If that money just sits in your checking account, it looks like it's available to spend. Your brain sees a balance of, say, $1,000 and thinks, I can afford that.
It's a visual cue. The number looks big, so I feel like I can spend.
Exactly. But if the robot moves $100 out the second your paycheck hits, your brain now sees 900, and you just naturally adjust your spending to fit the 900. The willpower was only needed once on the day you set it up.
That seems to be the theme here. Willpower is weak, systems are strong.
You got it. It's all about designing a life where saving is the default setting.
Okay, let's talk about another kind of money. The source has a section on windfalls and gifts. This is the money that sort of just lands in your lap, like a tax refund.
The so-called fun money.
Yeah, the fun money. My immediate instinct when I get a tax refund is, free money, I'm getting a new TV.
And that is exactly what the consumer economy wants you to think. But the source is really strict here. It argues that there's no such thing as found money.
What? Why? Money's money, isn't it?
Not to our brains, no. There's a cognitive bias called mental accounting. We categorize money. A paycheck feels serious because we earned it. A tax refund feels like a lottery win.
It feels like it fell out of the sky.
But it didn't. The source reminds us a tax refund is just an interest-free loan you gave the government. It was always your money. You just overpaid.
Wow, that is such a buzzkill way of looking at it, but
yeah,
you're not wrong.
Right. And because it comes in a lump sum, it has incredible power. A $2,000 refund invested can do serious work for you. Spend on a weekend trip, it's just gone. The source says it should never even hit your checking account. Straight to savings or investments.
Okay, that makes sense for refunds. But the source talks about something trickier. Gifts. This gets into social awkwardness.
Yeah, this requires changing some social norms, which is always hard.
It suggests that for your birthday or holidays, instead of asking for, sweaters or gadgets, you should ask for money to invest.
Please don't buy me another coffee mug. Buy me a share of an ETF.
Isn't that a little, tacky? Or at least weird. Hey, Grandma, just Venmo me for my retirement account.
It can be. It really depends on your family. But the argument is about stuff. We accumulate so much stuff. It depreciates, it breaks, it clutters up our lives.
And then you have to buy bins to store the stuff you don't use.
Exactly. The source is pushing for a mindset shift from accumulating material things to accumulating actual wealth. And if you frame it the right way, if you say, I'm really trying to save for a down payment on a house, people are often happy to contribute to a real goal.
That's a good point. It's not give me cash, it's help me with my goal.
It reinforces your identity as a saver, both to yourself and to the people around you.
Okay, let's zoom out here and put all these pieces together.
Let's recap the system.
We started with the forensic budget. Not for restriction, but for data, to see where the money's actually going.
Right. Moving from vibes to facts.
Then, the anti-lifestyle creep. Freezing your lifestyle when you get a raise to capture that new money before it disappears.
Then we got into the tools. Micro savings, the roundup apps that steal from you for your own good.
And automation, the robot butler who pays you first.
And finally, rethinking windfalls. Treating found money like earned money and asking for assets instead of stuff.
When you lay it all out like that, what's amazing is that none of it requires you to be a financial genius. You don't have to pick stocks.
And honestly, none of it requires you to suffer. That's the big thing for me. This isn't about eating beans and rice forever. It's about setting up clever systems so your money falls into a savings account instead of a cash register.
You're protecting your money from the person most likely to spend it. Yourself.
In a nutshell, yes. We're impulsive, we're distractible.
Yeah.
These strategies build a wall around your savings so your worst impulses just can't get to it.
So for the listener who started this whole thing by sweating over their bank app, where do they even start? This all sounds like a lot to do at once.
Start tiny. Just pick one thing. Turn on the roundup feature in your banking app. Or set up a single $20 weekly auto transfer. That's it.
Just turn on one of the machines.
Just one. Prove to yourself that it works, that you can save without feeling the pinch. But I would leave you with a bigger thought, something to really chew on from that lifestyle creep idea.
Okay, let's hear it.
We are trained, by our whole society really, to believe that enough is always just a little bit more than what we currently have. If I just got that next raise, then I'd be okay.
The goalpost is always moving.
Always. So the real question is, does enough ever actually exist? Or is a tight budget just a permanent state of mind? If you don't consciously decide to step off that treadmill, you can make $1 million a year and still feel like you're broke.
Wow. So the budget isn't tight because of the math, it's tight because of the mindset.
It's a question worth asking yourself the next time you feel that squeeze. Are you running towards a real finish line, or are you just running?
That is a heavy but really necessary thought to end on. Thank you for this deep dive. Go check your settings, maybe turn on one of those robots, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Happy saving!